Yeah, it's Cash. Get him. DJ Deuce McGuire, this hot as a log fire. Spark the lighter in the 303. We wrestle at the quarry. Golden, Colorado. Mercury Pro Wrestling Academy. Elevated wrestling. Yeah. Hashtag follow if you know the motto. Can't stop now. Got the need for speed. Combustion and concussion. Championships in my vision. I put the key in the ignition. Such an easy decision. I got a hustler's ambition. Wrestling at its best. Welcome to the show I put on for Rocky Mountain Pro. Let's go.
RMP Radio is back on the air. Hi, I am your host, Mr. Fourth Row, and joining me on this edition, I've got Johnny Zuto. Johnny, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Artie. How are you doing?
Doing great. Glad to have you on. So here on RMP Radio, like the listeners know, we get to know a little bit more about the person behind the wrestler. And in this case, we're going to focus here on you. Some of the things that the listeners may be interested to know here about you is that you kind of have a lot of do a lot of fun kind of nerdy stuff, and that's always good. You know, I think sometimes it goes hand in hand with wrestling and that kind of stuff. And
yeah.
One of the biggest things, which I think might lead to a lot of this stuff, is one thing that fascinated me that you said that before we got recording is you're into, and I thought it was a lost art form, and that's actually building PCs, building computers. You're still into that? Do you feel like it's kind of a lost art form?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I feel like it's a lost art form. I mean, I'm new to it, so okay. I built my first computer about 6 months ago, and I love it. A lot of my time is spent on it because I am trying to get a Twitch channel off the ground with my best friends, and I do graphic design as a side income. So I figured I'd take the plunge and invest in building a computer. But I had way more fun doing it because I was really apprehensive going into it. Yeah. I was like, I don't know, I'm gonna mess this up. I'm gonna fry something and waste a lot of money. But there's so much great stuff on YouTube, and I used a little tutorial. I built my computer, and when it turned on and that blue screen wasn't there, it was one of the greatest moments of my life. So.
That's great. Now, in building this computer for everything that you're doing, how much research and decision making did you have to do to decide like one thing over another?
Oh man, a lot. I talked to multiple friends who were probably like, man, if you don't build this computer and just stop asking me questions, I'm not going to be your friend anymore. But I had some help from some good people, some great YouTube tutorials out there. And I did do a lot of research. There's so much to it that I never would have thought. But once you start doing that, things start clicking and making sense. And that kind of gets smaller and as you research more and more.
Yeah. So. And additionally, do you feel like you have maybe set yourself up building this computer for when it's time for an upgrade for, like, say, a video card or something like that, or expandability of, I don't know, whatever, a RAID or something, an internal RAID or anything like that? Think you've got yourself to kind of future-proof your system there?
Yeah, I spent the good money on the graphics card, the processor, and the motherboard. So those are like the big things that like they just put out a bunch of new graphics cards. Nvidia did, so things are kind of getting a little bit cheaper. So maybe I'll go in and swap some of that stuff out. But when I bought them, they were pretty new, so I think I'm good for a little while. But definitely easy to just pop things in and out now that I've had the experience of building it.
That's awesome. And you said that you mostly did this for a lot of the things that you do on the side. Your Twitch channel, that's was that Punching Lasers?
Punch Lasers. Punchlazers. My best friends and I started this Twitch channel kind of as a way, like they live in other states. We grew up in Colorado together, but they live in other states, so we don't really get to spend a lot of time. So Twitch has kind of been a way that we can unite and get together and share our love of video games. Because we've known each other since elementary school, since we were young kids, and kind of growing up through the years. we just realized we had a lot of experiences, shared experiences, and a lot of our favorite moments were us playing video games. And so we kind of wanted to rekindle and recapture that, but also share it with an audience and the world. And they just see, how weird our friendship is, but also how much fun we have. So, yeah, that's been a big project for me.
That's awesome. Yeah, you mentioned that so you bonded you guys bonded growing up doing this, doing the gaming. What kind of gaming did you guys do in those early years? Was it the consoles and things of that nature?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm a huge Nintendo guy. I'm like
Okay.
Zelda, Mario, Smash Brothers. Those are kind of that's my area of expertise. My best friend Elliot, he's more of a PlayStation guy. And then our other best friend Bill, he's like a PlayStation PC guy, but he's really into the tech stuff, which is he's one of the guys I consulted to build this. Um, so yeah, like we have different backgrounds in games, and kind of between the three of us, we run the gamut of playing different diverse styles. But yeah, I grew up a Nintendo person, and so they would come over to my house and we play some Smash Brothers or Mario Party, those like multiplayer co-op competitive type things. And then my friend would have the single player like Final Fantasies and in those big PlayStation games. I go over there and play, and yeah, it's just a way that we bonded and spent many summer nights staying up all night playing video games, eating junk food. So,
Yeah, yeah. I think we've all kind of done that in our days. I remember that with the original Nintendo and Super Mario Brothers. Yeah, so
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
definitely did that. So this also you told me that doing this gaming and also the Twitch show and everything, it's
Mhm.
kind of helped you develop like your skills that you do on the outside and things of that
Yeah.
nature with graphic design and things of that nature. And you kind of, my understanding, I've been seeing out there online, you've done a lot of trial and error and tests of things and all that kind of
Yeah.
jazz.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I designed all the artwork and stuff that you see on the Punch Lasers Twitch channel and the YouTube channel. I'm editing the videos. I'm doing all that. But uh, art has always kind of been my passion, and getting to do like illustration art,
Okay.
drawing comic books and stuff. So as I got older, seeing that graphic design kind of lets you combine that and make money.
Yeah.
um, and so that was always a way for me to design some logos on the side, design some shirts. I do a lot of like wrestling shirts and logos, and that's been cool. But yeah, just like getting the chance to have fun and combine all the things that I love, and use my art talent and abilities and degree, and it's been nice.
Yeah. So the illustration with the comic books, how long have you been doing that? And have you done anything that people may have purchased or know about? Or
Um, so I've been drawing since I was about 5 years old. I kind of took to it and just had a lot of fun. I've not done anything like Marvel or DC or independent like uh, comic that you may pick up on a stand. I've gotten together with some friends and we've pitched ideas and stuff, but somewhere along the pipeline, this kind of just fell apart. So I have a bunch of like sketches and drawings that never kind of really amounted to stuff. But it's definitely on the bucket list to make some kind of comic book at some point in life.
yeah, and a lot of wrestlers are into comic books. Of course, yeah. I think you might know that Curtis Cole is huge. Obviously,
Yeah,
just by his
yeah, yeah.
appearance, just by looking at him in the ring, you would know that he is.
He's a
kind
nerd.
kind of hard to
Yeah,
hard to miss some of those tattoos.
right,
Yeah.
right.
What's so are you big into comic books? And if so, what's your favorite books and lines?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm huge into comic books. I love them. Um, I I should say like I'm really into like I'm not collecting them like trying to complete every list. I kind of just like pick them up for the art that I really like, or
Oh,
like when friends say, "Hey, this is a really good story. You should check it out."
mhm.
Spider-Man and Batman have always been like the two for me ever since I was a little kid. Just love them so much. My favorite artist Jim Lee does a lot of, or he used to do a lot of the Batman, and he did some X-Men back in the day, which is kind of how he really rose to his fame, before making the um, independent studio with Todd McFarlane and them.
Yeah.
But they uh, like Batman, Spider-Man are the big ones for me. My favorite comic book is my favorite comic books, I should say, are Hush, the Batman Hush comic, and Killing Joke. It's a big one for me. So
Oh, that's cool. Now,
yeah.
did you know that a little while ago, RMP put out a comic book?
I did. I heard. I didn't get to read it, but I saw a couple of the still images from it, and man, I that was awesome. So jealous of those guys.
And the next question would be: has anybody approached you to maybe do an issue number two?
No, I don't know who I need to talk to. I'm gonna get with Mercury Aiden. I'm gonna let him know.
Yeah, as far as I've got, I think I've got one or two copies. One to keep prestige, and the other to have autographed. But um, my impression that it was done by somebody that may not be around RMP right now.
Hmm.
But doesn't mean that we can't do another issue, because with these you can kind of just do them standalone stories. You don't have to necessarily make them a ongoing story. Because
Yeah.
if it's wrestling, you can tell the whole story in how many ever pages the book's going to be, right?
Right. Right. Yeah. That's what I want to do. I want to make the next RMP comic book, and it's gonna just be J.K. Pop and Tag Dudes, just their whole beef, their whole feud.
That's a good idea. Yeah, you could just have
That's it.
one. You could have each one could be a feud. Each book could be this feud and that feud. And so, have you gone back and looked at a lot of the previous episodes of Charge and stuff, and kind of maybe picked out some feuds that can maybe be put into comic book form?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely done my homework. I've gone back and if you're on the Rocky Mountain Pro Twitch, you may have seen me here and there doing the Rocky Mountain Rewinds.
Right.
I try to catch that as much as I can because we're studying tape. We're looking at these guys, and I'm seeing myself on there from old matches where I can improve things I can learn. But I'm also seeing the growth of guys like J.K. Pop, Curtis Cole, and it's awesome. It's really cool.
Yeah. So, and along the same lines, maybe maybe you may not want to admit this, but what have been some of the feuds that you've seen throughout the history with RMP and NRW that have just kind of wowed you and awed you, that on this side, maybe being the fan, have just come and just kind of entertained you?
Oh, that's a great question, man. The first one that pops up to mind is the time Danger Dean got turned into a vampire. His feud with Ronan was good. Two guys I have a lot of love for, and I enjoy watching them work. Um, when Jumbo turned on J.K. Pop, man, that was a shocker for me. I was sitting there with my jaw agape, just like, what is this? There's a lot of good stuff in those old RMP episodes. I really suggest people check out those rewinds.
Yeah, some of mine favorite, if I can interject, is
Yeah.
they're of course somewhat recently. Have only been in the bit around since 2016. Well, it still seems like a long time ago, but it's
Yeah.
still 4 years. But some of my favorites, Matt Yaden and Severino Corrente, like when they're
Mm.
fighting in the river.
Oh yeah.
That kind of stuff, that was fun. And another I think it needs to be revisited, maybe hopefully eventually, but Bruce Wayne's and Severino Corrente, I think we still got some unfinished
Yeah.
business there.
I think you're right. There's some history there for sure.
Yeah, that could be fun too. So there's all kinds of things I think would be great, and to maybe in a way kind of supplement some of these big feuds that have been in RMP's past.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, you know, you go through you do all these matches and stuff, and uh, things change, people change, and alliances form and break. And over the years, you might see yourself tag teaming with somebody you never thought. I never in a million years would have thought I'd see Mercury Yaden and Hoodlum tag teaming.
Yeah.
But you get it, and there's like some history between those guys. There's some story between those guys. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that would be great. So transitioning a little bit from there, another thing that the big nerdy stuff that you said you like is music. And what type of music do you enjoy?
Oh man, so people might not like expect this from looking at me. I mean, like a lot of people say, I'm really into everything. I like all the things, and that's true to a certain extent. I like a whole lot of music, but I mean, I'm really big into hip hop and R&B. Those are probably my two favorites, especially like in the '90s R&B and hip hop. That's really kind of my jam. But I mean, I listen to everything from ABBA to ZZ Top, Ghost, you name it. I'm sure I like it. You can find it on my Spotify. So,
That's fantastic. That's great. So here, now that listeners and watchers of RMP should see that you've recently come back and you've
yeah.
got that prestigious distinction of being a Colorado Cup winner, and you with that winning, you get to choose any title to go after. And what did you, if people haven't seen, and maybe spoiler alert, haven't seen on the Twitch, what did you
Yeah.
decide to do there?
Spoilers from here on out if you don't want to know. No. Well, first I gotta say, like I won that cup, and it was huge for me. Like it was to this time the biggest thing that I've won in Rocky Mountain Pro history. So it meant a lot to me to be able to lift that up at the end of the night. I had friends and family there who were so excited for me. The fans seemed to be really on my side, and so that was awesome. I even cleared a space on my bookshelf behind me to put it on. Dewey Larson, if you're listening, it's still getting engraved, but I got a spot, Dewey, and it's waiting for my trophy. So yeah, but I made the choice to challenge Dustin Urich, and I mean I did put a lot of consideration into this, but at the end of the day, you want to make a name for yourself. You are in professional wrestling to be the best, to hold the highest championship you can. And as far as RMP goes, the Rocky Mountain Pro Heavyweight Championship is the top of the top. So I'm gonna shoot my shot. I'm gonna go for it.
Yeah. Any concerns coming up here for your match at Shocktober about Dustin's backup with the wake there?
Yes. I mean, I'd be dumb to pretend like I wasn't concerned, like my head isn't on a swivel and I'm, looking over my shoulder. But at the end of the day, it's got to be me and Dustin one-on-one, and I can't make any excuses. My body aches. We're training a lot. We're hitting the weights. We're doing that. But I know Dustin's body aches too, and I know that Dustin has a target on his back. The longer he holds on to that title, the bigger that target gets. And he's been around the block, but nobody's impervious to injuries. And with all eyes on Dustin, the day will come that he is no longer champion. And I'm hoping that it's at Shocktober.
Yeah. And speaking of that, I just thought of something, and this is kind of a little bit maybe breaking the fourth wall a little bit, but coming back at Milestone 10, and then the Return of Charge, which is sandwiched in between Milestone 10 and now Shocktober. How does that feel getting into, I mean, a huge, big a part of the the next 10 years, as Matt Mercury Aiden says, for RMP. How does that feel, getting in there, and do you feel any pressure that perform well and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I always want to give it my all. I always want to, go out there and perform at a high enough level where fans can hopefully see that, I want to win. I want to
Yeah.
do all that stuff, but it's important to me that the fans get their money's worth. That there's always some pressure in that, but there's also a lot of honor, in my opinion, of like,
Yeah.
man, if at the end of the night, if I went out there and I gave it my all, and those fans are cheering and they're like, uh, whether they hate me or they love me, they can look at me and go, that guy fought, that guy gave me my money's worth. And that's really my big thing. Like, I'm kind of narrowing my scope. I'm not looking to 10 years ahead. I'm looking to week by week, getting in shape, getting in the ring, giving it my all. And that helps keep me a little less nervous, but the nerves are always there. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, this is like said before in previous episode, this is the, of course, return for Rocky Mountain Pro to live events. And of course, Milestone 10 being a huge, for lack of a better word, a milestone for Rocky Mountain Pro, next 10 years. And, and then rolling off, getting into the, one of the big events, big, four or so that RMP has, with Milestone, Shocktober, Never Broken, and so on. And Shocktober always seems to have some great moments and things of that nature. And this could be one. You winning the championship from the Vulture. Do you have any memorable moments watching Rocky Mountain Pro from previous Shocktober events?
I believe it was at Shocktober when Dean squared off in a coffin match with Ronan. That's the big one that comes to mind. As far as like just overall big events, Milestone's always Milestone.
Yeah,
as you said. But yeah, I mean, just looking back over the years to see where we've come from, the first Milestone that was in a high school to the Pepsi Center to selling out charged episodes and wrestling at the Pepsi Center for some of these guys, and having Milestone 10, like 10 years of independent professional wrestling in Colorado is an achievement for the few companies that can say they achieved it.
Yeah, that's very true. And I'm gonna interject a little bit, answer my own question I just asked of you, and of course I was in person with this as well as a lot of people, but I remember the Shocktober that Curtis Cole won the Rocky Mountain Pro Championship, and the tumble that Tyler Stinson made. He was basically looked like a spike, a javelin. It was amazing. So if you guys hear this, it's one thing I remember, and just the shock and the amazement of Curtis winning the championship. So it's always been fun. There's a lot of memorable moments. Shocktober seems to be in my opinion, kind of sometimes where they can have a little bit of fun, because it of course takes place around Halloween, and a lot of the wrestlers get into it and that kind of stuff. Speaking of which, do you think you're going to get into the Halloween mood a little bit for Shocktober? You could just tease the listeners if you want.
I could just tease them.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Halloween so much. I just might. You're gonna have to tune in to see, but I just might have to. I mean, I'm a big fan of Halloween. A lot of the guys and gals at Rocky Mountain Pro are big fans of Halloween. This is a terrible tease. I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to tune in to find out. I might have something up my sleeve.
Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. Yeah, because a lot of the wrestlers will get into it because they get to do something a little different than what we normally see them week to week in the charged episodes, and of course, with Shocktober being one of the big events that Rocky Mountain Pro has, might as well get theme it up. Get a little creative with the your ring gear and things of that nature.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, like I said, terrible tease, but I don't want to spoil anything. But I've definitely, the thought has crossed my mind, and I have a few ideas. I love like horror movies and stuff like that. Another thing I probably don't seem like if you meet me in person. But yeah, a big fan of horror movies and stuff. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, well, tis the season. October rolls around, and a lot of people start, doing watches of horror movies, asking for suggestions, things of that nature. Do you have a suggestion for the listeners of maybe a horror movie if they were looking for one to watch this season?
Ooh, oh man, oh, that's a tough question. So my favorite of all time this might upset people, but I really like the Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead. I like the zombie type stuff. My girlfriend and I actually our first date was on Halloween to see the Halloween reboot.
Okay.
And so that kind of has a special place in my heart. Those Mike Myers films. And the third Jason, the first time he dons his hockey mask is in the third movie.
Oh.
So yeah, go check those out. Those are the easy ones. Yeah, I'm gonna go with those.
Well, that's a good staple for the listeners if they wanted to put some things on their playlist for the movie watching this month. So yeah, I think that's a fantastic place to go there. So and then of course, speaking of this season, of course we got Shocktober happening here in just a little while. I want to wish you luck.
Thank you.
For your match against Dustin Urich for the Rocky Mountain Pro Championship. So we'll see how that turns out, and of course I will be seeing you there. And but before I do let you go, listeners want to catch up with you, see everything that's heading up to Shocktober there on the social medias. Where could they do that? Follow you on the social medias.
Yeah, well, first let me say thank you so much for having me on here. This has been a blast. But if you want to catch me, you can see me on Twitter at Sweet Johnny Zuto, on Instagram Johnny_Zuto. Come watch me Twitch stream. I would love to have more people in there chatting. Come if you want to come talk crap to me, you could do that. Mm-hmm. Punch twitch.tv/punch lasers PUNCHLAZERS. We also have videos on YouTube you can check out. I've been working hard to edit those, still figuring things out. But yeah, Punch Lasers is the channel. Myself and my two best friends taking turns playing games with each other or without, just having a good time and chatting, trying to build a positive community. So if you feel like you want some gaming and chatting and art in your life, come check us out.
Yeah, that sounds like a very fun time. Definitely would suggest the listeners check that all out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, once again, Johnny, thank you for coming on to this edition of RMP Radio. And like I said, I will be seeing you in a short while there at Shocktober.
Yeah, thank you so much, Artie. The pleasure's all mine. Can't wait to see you at Shocktober.
Once again, a big, huge thank you to Johnny Zuto for coming on to this edition of RMP Radio and letting all the listeners get to know just a little bit more about him beyond the ring, like we do here on RMP Radio. Oh, before we get out of here, let's pay some bills like they used to say back in the day. You want to get some merchandise of your favorite Rocky Mountain Pro superstars? Head over to the website at rmpwrestling.com. Click on the merchandise link. Or if you're at the Amazon.com or the Amazon app, search for Rocky Mountain Pro, and you'll be presented with a few choices there to choose from. Additionally, hit up your favorite Rocky Mountain Pro superstar. A lot of them have pro wrestling tee stores now, so look for them, search for them on Pro Wrestling Tees, or search in their social media for their links. I know a lot of them are getting a lot of shirts updated almost every other day. All right, you want to watch us, head over to twitch.tv/Rocky Mountain Pro, impactplus.tv, youtube.com/Rocky Mountain Pro, and then also hopefully soon here we'll have our episodes on Fight TV, Right Now TV, and the like. How about upcoming events? We got one coming up, like we mentioned there with Johnny Zuto. Got Shocktober. You want to get tickets to that, head over to rmpwrestling.com, click on the events link, and you'll be presented with a purchase button there for tickets. We'd love to see each and every one of you out. Additionally, if you aren't able to make it, you can always subscribe to the Twitch feed. If you're a Prime subscriber on Amazon, you'll get a free subscription to a Twitch feed. We would greatly appreciate it if you throw your support behind Rocky Mountain Pro. Otherwise, if you're not, or if you have your subscription for Prime already kind of somewhere else, it's a nominal fee, well worth all the shows and everything we do for you, especially in this case the Shocktober feed goes out to all the subscribers free of charge, and you don't have to wait for it. All right, you want to follow us, everything does stem from the website at rmpwrestling.com, and we want to have you follow us on the social medias of the Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagram of the Rocky MTN Pro, and that is phonetically once again spelled out the Rocky Mike Tango November Pro, and also RMP on Twitch for the same thing. So we greatly appreciate you do that for us. Thank you all for listening, supporting RMP Radio, where pro wrestling is elevated.